Right then, Ross, I hope this is going to be great. So these are 2 single cask bottlings of Wireworks from the White Peak Distillery. We love Max and Claire Vaughan, the owners of the distillery. We've done a few sort of bottlings with them in the past. These are 2 of their sort of single cask expressions from 2024. What year is it? 2024?
Yeah, it's 2024.
Thank you. And I think this is, for me, a perfect example of why these side-by-side, head-to-head tastings work. So these, as I say, are 2 single casks, and they've almost done it as an experiment.
Okay.
So they've kept as many different things the same as possible. So they're distilled the same sort of time. You know, fermentation times, all this stuff was all pretty much the same. Cask type was the same. The only difference is that one of the casks was matured kind of towards the top of the warehouse, the dunnage warehouse. The other one was towards the bottom.
So it was literally same day distillate, same day bottling, just different parts of the warehouse.
I'm not sure it was same day, but it was very, very close.
Okay, that's
so in terms
interesting.
of age, cask type, you know, all this stuff, pretty much the same. So it's just about the location.
That's fun for me. I didn't know. I'd read the labels, but I didn't know the story behind it. I've seen it done with independent bottlers before, where they bought casks that were from the same day and bottled it the same. I've never seen somebody officially do it where it's like, okay, this is literally 2 casks highlighting the beautiful inconsistencies of a single cask. And you introduced me to Wireworks.
Yeah.
And truthfully, you know, I was a bit naive towards English whiskey in general. I'm okay to admit that now. But the spirit won me over. The story's great. Derbyshire's obviously great. You know you're going to get good water. It lightly peated even intimidated me a little bit, and I was like, peated in English, and I'm not really sure this is going to work.
Quite young as well.
I'm quite young,
Yeah.
but the spirit so far has blown me away, and I was going to sound quite biased before I try this, but easily my favourite English distillery now, now having tried a consistent range of their products. But this is quite fun from a nerdy point of view.
Yeah. They could be identical, in which case it's, you know,
it'll be interesting, right?
Experiment. But I'm 99% sure the spirits can be very good. You know, at Bevvy, we've been at a couple of whiskey festivals in Scotland, and we've had some fun by pouring their first release.
Yeah.
Pouring it to people blind, not telling them what it is.
I bet people are...
So funny. You get these... We did one at Hampden Stadium, which is Scotland's national stadium, and there's always hardened Scottish whiskey drinkers. And we're like, oh, pour me something I've never had before. So you pour them that, and we're like, oh, you know, it's got a wee bit of smoke to it, but it's balanced.
Oh, that's really impressive.
And they're like, oh, that's got to be Campbelltown, probably Springbank,
Yeah.
you know, 15 plus years old. And you say, that's 4 years old and English.
From Derby.
And I nearly got a black eye that day. They were not impressed.
But that is like, that just shouts for the quality of what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's funny. You are taking your life into your own hands doing that.
And I don't know why I did a pirate accent.
But also, the unfortunate thing is you could go to these whiskey festivals with Wireworks and say, this is Wireworks, it's from Derbyshire, and some people will go, oh, I'm not having that.
Yeah.
And so some people just need...
It's a great one to pour blind.
Including me, some people just need to give it a go, give it a try and see what it's all about.
Yeah.
Dunnage Warehouse, obviously not that big. Normally about 3 racks, 4 racks high. So it'll be interesting to see how this makes it
I think
different.
in terms of the location, obviously it's all about sort of temperature and humidity.
Is it stored down in Derbyshire? Is it?
Is it what, sorry?
Is it stored down in Derbyshire?
Yes, everything's matured on site.
Oh, wow.
I think for me, I'm slightly sceptical about this experiment because I think the changes in location makes a big difference in places like Kentucky, where you've got barrels that are stored, 12
10 racks high,
10 racks high, whatever. And that could make a huge difference in terms of evaporation and
100%.
wood interactions.
Are the strengths different in these?
Good point. Let's have a look. This one is 52.7 for the Downard.
This is 52.7 as well.
Okay,
so
it's the same strength.
And lightly peated STR cask used here as well. So that's really, in both, this is one of 330 bottles.
Yeah.
So single cask releases, this should be
special
quite
on its own. Yeah. The names of these whiskies, obviously Wireworks, we've got the Uppard and the Downard. This is actually named after the 2 sort of local, I say football teams. I suppose every year in Derbyshire, in a small village, they have, you remember like mob football, where they have, I think the 2 goals are 3 miles apart.
Okay.
And you've got the Downards who lives, I guess, south of the river.
It's kind of like Orkney. They do a battle called the Ba game. So it's the Uppies versus the Doonies.
Probably the same
Farmers versus fishermen. And it's like very little, it's not football.
It's more like rugby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I've seen this.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many rules to it at all.
I think you're not allowed to take the ball in a car.
Okay.
and don't kill anyone.
Well, the rule I know the rule on Orkney for the BA for the ball game, but
Right.
the bag game is you can't kick a man when he's down.
That's fair enough.
That's the only rule.
I mean, that's a good life lesson.
And I think it's the Doonies have to get the ball into the water of the harbour, and the Uppies need to touch a wall. So
Yeah.
I think I've seen this on like BBC News before.
Same sort of idea, but the Derbyshire version.
Barbaric sport. Takes
Yeah.
interesting though.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Okay,
So
let's give
we'll
these a
crack
little pour.
open.
See what you think.
Yeah, why works is always just great spirit. I'm not 100% sure what the difference will be between upper and downer, but this is what we're here to discover,
Yeah.
I suppose.
I'm excited.
Quite like
I love
this
that.
synchronized pouring. It's quite fun, actually.
Yeah, what can I say?
Right, so I've got the downard. Let's not get them mixed up.
Okay.
So we do downard first.
Yeah, so the upward comes with a more generous pour right straight away.
I'm a stingy, so
As you can see. Okay, we'll start with yours actually. That's a better idea. That's a better thing to do.
for me, on the nose, I'll let you give a sniff. It's like mustiness to it. I think you can. I think when you know it's lightly peated, you can pick it up. But I think if you don't like smoky whiskies, it's not going to put you off straight away.
There's definitely some yellow fruits underlying as well. Definitely a little bit of apricot for me. And the peat isn't too forward. It is almost, there's a weird note, but dunnagey on the nose. It is a bit dusty. It's a bit kind of, it smells mature.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely
Kind of dusty in the same way as, you get like old blends from the 70s.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to that. Yeah, where it's got a freshness, but also a kind of, mothball-y. Have a little taste.
Yeah,
Wow.
I wouldn't say it's particularly vibrant nose.
No, it's not. It's not particularly fragrant. The palate is actually loads of yellow fruit, and the peat isn't that forward. Maybe a little bit on the back. It's got a touch of savouriness, but for me, there's it's quite kind of cereal. Lots of cereal notes as well. Quite biscuity. I like the palate, but it's not what I expected from Wireworks.
Yeah.
How
does it compare to the ones
I expected?
you've had like 2 or 3?
I've had the port and I've had some bourbon, and I expected more smoke. Whereas for me, this is quite balanced. It's quite cereal, lots of biscuity notes.
For me, the smoke is there, but it's very well integrated with everything else. I think sometimes with lightly peated whiskies, you get the cask influence, and it's sweet and vanilla and oak and that stuff, and then you get the smoke on the finish. For me, the smoke is there kind of throughout, but as we said, doesn't dominate, it doesn't overwhelm, it just works quite nicely with the other flavours.
And the nose on the second one,
I'm still enjoying the first.
I think is a little bit smokier.
Okay.
That's interesting.
This is the upwards.
Yeah. And maybe a little bit more spirit on the nose as well. It's not massively different, but
It's less dusty and musty, I think, this one.
This is quite interesting.
It's good.
Yeah, okay.
If you get this mixed up, it's going to be...
Interesting. I think the noses are... They are different. They are.
Upwards, for me, is a bit cleaner, I think, on the palate. I mean, they're both very, very good.
For me, the upwards is peatier. This is the best thing about whiskey. For me, this is a bit more Wireworks, dirtier.
Peatier throughout the whole...
Yeah, absolutely, for me.
Yeah.
This is the best thing, right?
Yeah.
For me, this is a dusty, little bit fruit, mostly cereal and biscuit style notes. Lots of kind of barley notes on the palate. This is a bit dirtier for me. It's interesting, right? Because you drink a lot more peated whiskey than I do.
Yeah.
So I feel like, especially for lightly peated whiskey, I'm maybe hypersensitive to this kind of thing. But for me, the palate of this.
Both are lovely. I think experiments...
It's a lot of fun
nice,
experiment, right?
because I think you can tell when... I mean, it's probably... I'm confident they knew there was a difference.
Yeah, oh
If
yeah.
they were identical, they
No,
would
no
have
two
been-
casks are the same, right? So there's definitely lots of similarity. They both drink really well at the strength as well.
Yeah.
But for me, I get more peat smoke on the palate coming through on the upwards, which is interesting. We've not looked at their notes and seen what they thought as well, actually. Whereas you can handle peat smoke much easier than these. It's quite fun because we've kind of disagreed directly on what we think of each of them. Two great releases from Wireworks again. I've got to say,
Yeah, it's good
delicious.
fun. I
This
think
is easier drinking for me.
Yeah, I think it's a nice, imagine, the commercial side probably wasn't at the forefront of their mind, but it's a nice way to get people to buy 2 single casks instead of just one, to do that comparison.
Downward for me is more to my palate, bit fruitier,
Okay.
bit less smoke for me. This is more Wireworks,
Okay.
traditional Wireworks from my experience, and so kicks my arse a little bit.
Okay.
To-
This one tastes,
if I'm being
the
totally
upwards
honest.
tastes a bit stronger.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I think
feeling
that's
the
fair.
ABV a little bit more.
I think that's totally fair. Do you have a preference?
They're both very, very good. I think it's one of those things where
I'm going to get you off that fence, Laurie, back.
I think the main thing is that there is a difference. And I think even though we don't agree, we agree that they are different.
So what's your preference?
I think maybe the downers.
So we both prefer the downers, but for different reasons.
But I think if you try them tomorrow,
yeah.
I might prefer the uppers.
It's so a really fun experience, a really fun experiment to do with you from a distillery that we absolutely adore.
They're just great. They don't make bad
They don't make bad whiskey, which actually is very rare.
They also don't make average whiskey, which sets them apart.
100%. Again, you've got presentation, cask strength, single cask, natural colour, non-chill filtered for a new distillery. These are all things that you love to see.
Yeah, really, really good. Good fun. Should we do it together in an hour? And see
it'd be
if I can
interesting.
change? But yeah, really good fun. And yeah, 2 great single casks. Nice experiment.
That was truly research.
Yeah, I'm glad we did these head-to-head work. But
Cheers.
Cheers.
If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Bevvy content. We want to hear what you think, your best whiskey experiences, the whiskies you want us to try. It's a really exciting journey we're on, so make sure to join us. Download the Bevvy app on Google Play and App Store to keep track of your whiskey journey, connect with your whiskey friends, keep track of your favourites, anything you could ever want to do with whiskey, all in one place. It's the definitive whiskey companion.